one unexpected phone call changed everything. Experience like no other. When she said she needed it urgently, I didn't think twice, and I made sure I delivered on time. Going above and beyond sets you apart. One moment, I was lying on my couch at home, unwinding after a long day, and in the blink of an eye, I found myself on a journey to Aso Rock, preparing to make head tie hats and turbans for Nigeria's First Lady. Here's how one unexpected phone call changed everything. That day started just like any other. I woke up, went about my routine, and nothing felt special. In fact, it was just a regular day filled with the usual routine responsibilities I was used to. When I got home, I expected it to be just a usual evening too. But then my phone rang and that call changed everything. On the other end, a voice introduced herself as a special assistant to the First Lady. Well, I was used to working with state-level First Ladies, but this was different. This was Nigeria's First Lady at the time, Mrs. Yar'Adua. I was quite surprised and of course thrilled. She wanted to see me urgently, in fact the next day, but I asked for 2 days to manage my family commitments. With my husband's approval, 48 hours later, I was on my way to Abuja with my assistant, ready for an experience like no other. From the moment we got to the airport, we went straight to Aso Rock. Security was tight, as you can imagine, but surprisingly, I was rushed in as the First Lady wanted to see me before going off for her prayers. As I walked in, it struck me how quickly life can change. Just 2 days ago, I was on my couch at home, and now here I was in Nigeria's seat of power. After a short wait, I was introduced to Her Excellency, Mrs. Yar'Adua. She was very warm and welcoming. I had a small gift bag with me, a book by Joyce Meyer, one of my favorite Christian authors, and a second book for her husband. Immediately I knew I was going to see her. I dashed off to Latena bookstore in Victoria Island, picked up this book that had blessed me so much. I believe when you have something good, you should share it. And this was my moment to give something meaningful. I mentioned to Her Excellency that if the president happened to pass by, I'd love to greet him. And guess what? Things turned out pretty nice. He did pass by a room close to the one where we were in, and I had the opportunity to greet him briefly. It was indeed a very interesting outing. The First Lady's daughters soon joined us, beautiful young ladies. I took their measurements and we discussed their order, head tie hats and turbans, as I had been briefed earlier. Then the surprise of the day came. The entire order, and it wasn't a small order, was needed by the next morning. The First Lady was due to attend the UN event in New York with her dear husband. Wow, I thought to myself, God help me. My assistant and I flew back to Lagos immediately. On getting to Lagos, we hit the ground running, like they say. We worked right into the evening in our workroom in the office, and eventually had to move most of our machines to my house and literally turned my living room into a production hub to enable us work all night while giving me the opportunity to be with my son, who was only just about 4 years old at the time. Couches were pushed aside, machines set up, bright lights everywhere. We worked through the night, and I mean literally all night, frantically trying to meet up with the very tight deadline. Though we had not finished, by morning, myself and the head of my production unit were back on a plane to Abuja We checked into the hotel and continued to work until we were compelled to do a fitting with Her Excellency. Some pieces were completed, and for the rest, we continued working until the very last minute. We did the fitting with the First Lady before she left, and thankfully, it was a good success. Honestly, it was a very challenging but rewarding experience. Reflecting on this experience, I learned some key lessons that I think all creativepreneurs and any entrepreneur can benefit from. Number one, opportunities can arise anytime. One moment you can be on your couch, and the next on your way to heights you can only imagine. So always be prepared. Number two, stay visible. This opportunity didn't find me by chance. I was always in magazines, on TV, at events showcasing my work. You have to be visible and excellent at what you do. Visibility and excellence attract attention. Number three, be prepared for big moments. Success happens when opportunity meets preparedness. If I had not been ready to handle the request, I'd have missed that opportunity. Be prepared for big moments. Number four, God can change your circumstances anytime. That day was routine and boring, but a single call changed everything. Your circumstances can change for good without any notice, especially when you're faithful and diligent in your work. As the scripture says, a man diligent in his work will stand before kings. Number five, if you're good, people will come to you. Your work should speak for itself. If you consistently do good work, people will come looking for you. Number six, share your values with others. Every opportunity is a chance to share what matters most to you. For me, my faith is essential. Sharing my faith is essential. And I did that by bringing her a book that had changed my life. Number seven, and I think this is my last point, always go the extra mile. When she said she needed it urgently, I didn't think twice, and I made sure I delivered on time. Going above and beyond sets you apart. Working with the First Lady opened doors for more opportunities. During her time as First Lady, she wore John 3:3 millinery head tie hats, which people mistook for regular head ties, and turbans as well. As you can imagine, this led to many more clients coming our way. Now, to all the creativepreneurs watching, I want to leave you with this. Be prepared, stay visible, and don't be afraid to share your values. You never know when your next opportunity might come. If you've enjoyed this story, be sure to stay tuned, because in my next video, I'll be sharing the very interesting story of how I started making hats or headpieces for one of Nigeria's most iconic fashion figures, Chief Mrs. Oprah Mason Benson, the Yauge of Lagos herself. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching.